I am Randy Huffstickler. I'm the head football coach and athletic coordinator at Tyler Lee.
So my name is David Lukenbach, and I'm the rector or senior minister here at Christ Episcopal Church in downtown Tyler.
My name is Lisa Pulliam, and I'm a mom of 4 kids. I'm married to Chris Pulliam, who's a pastor at First Christian Church.
My name is Hunter Brush, and I'm an attorney, practice criminal law here in Smith County. Used to be the district attorney here a couple of times.
Yeah, I'm Thomas G. Robinson, better known as Tommy Robinson by everybody. And
my name's Tom Ramey. I live in Tyler, Texas.
I'm Ross Strader, and I'm one of the pastors at Bethel Bible Church.
I'm Doug Clark. I'm the pastor of Grace Community Church here in Tyler.
I had never experienced anything like it, ever. And I'd grown up in the church, sort of, marginally involved in the church, and had never seen anything as fun and as crazy and as relatable and relational as Young Life.
Well, when I got to high school, there was a guy that hung around out in front of the high school at noon, during the noon break every day. And so he found me shortly after I got there and came up and introduced himself. His name was Wally Howard, and he said he was the Young Life leader in Tyler.
So I grew up in a church home, and I was a Christian. But growing up in our church in Corpus Christi, I really wasn't discipled in our church. And it was Young Life that was really the place that discipled me.
And I started going in 1945, mainly because, and this is not an unusual thing, because I heard there were some girls there, so.
But he was such a nice guy, I did like him. I got to really like him and enjoyed seeing him and talking to him. And then next year, my junior year, same thing. Noon, here comes Wally. Hey, Hunter, you gonna come to Young Life this week? Wally, thanks for the invite. Thanks.
Harry Sly was our area director. Amazing man whose impact on the city still has ripple effects.
All year. In my senior year, first crack out of the bottle, here comes Wally. I knew what was coming. And I don't know exactly why, but this time I decided to say, okay, Wally, I'll go visit you this week.
And so there was, I think they were doing hospital bed races, and I think actually somebody even went to the emergency room the very first time I went to a Young Life club. And so I was totally sold on this. And my whole impression of Young Life coming away was no way did we do that and hear about Jesus on the same night.
And there was a big crowd of kids out there. A lot of my friends were out there. And so they sang some songs, and Wally was emceeing the deal, and then they had their election of officers for the year. And to my utter amazement, I was nominated for president and got elected president of the Tyler Young Life Club. First time I'd ever seen it. But needless to say, I had to keep coming after that.
When I was a senior in high school, a group of my friends came to me and said, hey, there's a guy running around the high school who wants to start something called Young Life. Would you be interested in going? And I didn't have really any idea what it was. I'd grown up in a kind of a churchy background, but wasn't a believer. And so I thought, wow, this would be cool. Check out what all these guys were doing. We all played football together. They were a year older. And so that's how it all played out.
And I remember sitting at camp one night and hearing that message of how much God loved me and how much, how Christ had died for me, and just thinking, I never really realized that until now. And came back from Frontier Ranch just hungry, starving for the Word.
The whole thing was geared to produce those sort of relations and inspirations and friendships. You know, I made some really good friends out there that I developed relationships with through Young Life that I never would have had those sort of relationships with, you know, just going to school with them.
I graduated, but a bunch of us stayed here and went to Tyler Junior College, which didn't amount to much then, but because it was still downtown. But a bunch of us hung around Young Life anyway, and George Sheffer sort of nurtured us. We had Bible studies and so forth, and we grew that way. And after we had been around for a while, we went to camps and everything, just like we were high school kids.
Just remember the power of the moment and how I felt for the first time this thing called the Bible was actually becoming real to me. But it began a journey that is for a lifetime.
It was the summer after my junior year at Wilderness Ranch, up in the middle of nowhere, that God recaptured my heart, and it was absolutely through the penetrating conversations that my Young Life leader, Judd Jones, had with me.
And so I was already a believer, but it was really at Windy Gap Young Life Camp in North Carolina that really made a commitment to be a deliberate disciple and to devote my life to following after Christ and make that kind of the heart of who I was.
I went to Young Life my whole junior year, and then between my junior and senior year, I went to Silver Cliff, which used to be a property near Frontier, actually down the hill from Frontier. And on the way home, I trusted Christ as my Savior. I was on the bus by myself thinking about some of the things that the speaker, Bart Tarman, had said.
And you know, you learn about your fallenness, you know, in Young Life by dealing with real people as they are. So, and when you have a mentality of people can come as they are, it really equips you as a pastor also to know that to give people permission to not always be on their best behavior.
We are committed for the rest of our lives to this ministry, whether it be Tyler, Texas, or Africa, or any parts of it. I am irrevocably convinced. You cannot change my mind. That God has chosen Young Life for this moment in history, whether it be Tyler or Bulawayo, Zimbabwe, or Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. That God has chosen Young Life to use greatly for His glory at this moment in history.
I think that absolutely has been defining for Leslie and I as we've been in ministry, in church ministry, for these last almost 10 years of our life. That it's absolutely defined who we are in ministry.
The gap where a lot of kids are missing that personal relationship with Christ, and how someone like myself can grow up in the church and kind of miss that. I don't know, but it was Young Life that God used to speak His message of salvation and grace to me, and I will always be grateful for that.
I feel like that's one of the things that God has taught me through Young Life. How do you develop a ministry? Is you develop people, and you develop a relationship with them to be able to share a relationship with them, the relationship with Christ. I'm Doug Clark, and I believe in Young Life.
I'm Randy Huffstickler, and I believe in Young Life.
I'm Tommy Robinson, and I firmly believe in Young Life.
I'm Lisa Pulliam, and I believe in Young Life.
I'm Ross Streeter, and I believe in Young Life.
I'm David Lukenbach, and I believe in Young Life.
I'm Tom Ramey, and I believe in Young Life with all my heart.